we've been working on a few different things ourselves, right? I've got Odoo stuff to talk about that's going to come up. You've been working with some AI tools, got live streams coming up. You've been doing your content and things, so we can cover a lot of that.
Yes, absolutely. Since we last chatted, well, I'm coming to the end of my summer here, which is great. It's starting to cool down a little bit. Kids are back at school, which is awesome. Got them back at school now. But yeah, like since last time I've talked to you, you know, still smashing out those live streams. But I've also, and I probably didn't even mention it, I've launched my WebWash Premium community. So that's been launched. Haven't made that many sales. Made a couple of sales, but also got somebody requested a refund pretty much 24 hours after it. Because I do offer a 14-day money-back guarantee. But please, if you are going to send an email, like I'm more than happy to refund you. And if you are unhappy, and this person mentioned that he didn't meet the expectations. And the first comment I asked was, can you tell me exactly what didn't meet your expectations so I can help improve it? Was it the courses? Was it the messaging and this and that? And crickets. I haven't heard anything back. So that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I offer a 14-day money back guarantee, no matter what. But if you are going to ask for a refund, which I'll give it to you 100%, just tell me. You know, just tell them, because I'm a one-person band. Like, I don't know why this person asked for a refund. So that was kind of a bummer. But
that's what you want to know when you launch, I guess. You want to go, I've just launched. I'll take a wild guess at what it is you want. Tell me.
Totally. Yeah. And the thing is, though, I'm kind of staging out these launches. I've kind of done a soft launch of it. I haven't fully promoted it because there's still a lot of things I want to fix up. For example, I want to chuck in the ability to have a little free badge on the videos, which are available for free, so you can preview it. It's all these little things that really do collectively add up together when it comes to selling courses and things like that. And then, the courses is kind of one part, but then this whole other part I want to test out with, like, spinning up, versions of Drupal sites that are part of the video course as well, or the live stream. And that's the next thing I'm going to do. So,
does that tie into when we were discussing Drupal Forge in a previous episode?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're looking down that path?
Well, like, essentially, if you watch a live stream, so for example, right, this week I'm planning to do a live stream on Drupal Commerce, and so I'm getting that ready. But what I want is the ability for people to be able to press a button and just spin up a site, essentially the site that we've made in the live stream, be able to spin it up somewhere online where they can play around with it themselves. Because Drupal Commerce, trust me, there is a lot involved in it. I'm trying to pack it down because there's products, variations, shipping, tax, sales tax, product taxes. Then you have Stripe. Do you integrate with Stripe? And it's like trying to pack this all into like an hour and a half live stream. So I'm kind of still deciding what I'm going to cover, but I could pretty much cover Drupal Commerce in about 4 or 5 live streams. But just trying to package all of that. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, oh, this would be a perfect part for me to kind of build the site that I'm going to build, develop it as a recipe, and then put it somewhere where people can spin it up. Maybe I will create a few, just chuck them on GitHub and all that. But it would be good eventually to offer kind of like a value add where they can press a button and it spins up on a Drupal site somewhere using Drupal Forge or something.
Interesting to go if recipes can take it that way. It's one of the first questions I had when I started to understand recipes was, can you spin me up a Drupal Commerce site? And then I remember speaking to the commerce guys in chat and they're like, oh no, recipes don't suit that. But then 6 months later, they're going, we're creating a recipe. It depends who you talk to. I don't know who I'm speaking to, but I think you go into a Slack chat and you just get whoever's opinion. You don't necessarily get the community's opinion.
Yeah.
One thing I've learned that sometimes when you talk to people, you think you're talking to the community and you're just talking to one voice in the community.
One opinion, essentially.
Yeah.
But you do know the whole thing about the marketplace, right? That the DA, the Drupal.
I haven't been staying on top of it. I'm aware of it. It's around.
Not yet. I haven't been, but
modules you can make money off.
Yeah, and I'm sure, I'm sure the team that run Drupal Commerce, I forgot their name. They're not Commerce guys anymore. They're Centrino. I Apologies if I didn't pronounce it correctly, but I can almost guarantee. I think even Ryan Schramer, the lead there and the person that runs the company, wrote something about the marketplace. Because do you remember what's it called? Commerce Kickstart. Commerce Kickstart distro. That was like the first big popular distribution.
A starter profile, yeah?
It was a starter profile, but it was technically a distro. Yeah, it was a distro, and I maintained 1 or 2 websites on that distribution. It wasn't the greatest experience, but that's because of just distributions in general. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how things go with this whole marketplace.
Commerce, I did work with probably in something like 2015, if I'm going to guess, right? And around about the same time, I think Magento was starting to get a lot more traction. And I think Magento was the big thing. But then Shopify is taking over so many things that I feel like some of those are falling apart. I'm avoidant of Shopify. You know, my open source sort of, I just don't, I've got to pay for it and I'm locked on some platform. I don't want to know about it, which I think holds me back in a lot of things. But then I'm setting up Odoo now. Right, that's the commerce thing. I was about to set up commerce. I literally sat down at my computer and I'm going to install Drupal Commerce. I told someone else I wanted to do it for another project, and then just went, is this the right thing for me to be doing? And then kind of chat to ChatGPT and go, maybe I should use Odoo instead. And kind of went, yeah. And I don't really know Python, but I have ChatGPT to write Python for me, which is another reason I like it, because ChatGPT does Python better than PHP. But it's been an interesting experience. But now I'm using Odoo for my accounts. I've got a lot of my accounts set up. I put all my vendor bills in there. I've had to learn accounting, right? So you're sitting there with ChatGPT just going, how do these accounts work? And I've got to get my accountant to give it a once over, right? But then setting up vendor bills, putting in the tax, all that same stuff. But this is all from an accounting perspective. And so I'm writing an add-on for Odoo now to connect to eBay and import my orders, because I want to import my payments. So I've got to get tax done soon, right? So I'm trying to, but then am I going about it the wrong way? And that's learning their ecosystem. Of course, there's a Odoo community connector add-on, which is a just framework for talking to external things like ChatGPT or Magento or eBay. It's got another thing called connector interfaces, which is supposed to be based because it gives you structures for here's an importer and here's an importer page, and you can do sources and it hooks to queues and stuff like that. But all the modules, the community modules that worked with that, seem to have stopped being used open source around Odoo 14. Like we're going quite a few years ago, and now everything's moved into, you know, these modules still exist, but they're proprietary now. It's like, you want to connect to eBay, $250, you can have our add-on. And I'm like, I'm going to make it myself, open source it, stick it up, right? And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going, it's not that hard to speak to an API, right? But then also I'm going, but then the documentation's so lacking. So I'm using ChatGPT to explain how this works, and it explains how it used. Like, it's always going, just do this and this will happen, and you go, but it doesn't. Like I was there for just there's, you know, I created, what do you call it, an import source, which is like eBay, and I go, how do I import it? There's no button, and ChatGPT's gone, there should be a button on that page because it inherits from the other form. And it's like, no, it doesn't. You go and look at the module and go, it doesn't provide a button. And then later on, ChatGPT, no, it doesn't have a button because it expects you to run it by cron. And you're like, that's where ChatGPT gets a bit weird. It's just, you know, it's hallucinated. It said, there's an import. When I asked it, how do you import? It goes, there's an import button on this page. And you go, no, there's not. And later on, it's like, no, there is no import button because you've got to do it by cron. And it's like, okay. So I just wasted an hour and a half. But they did waste an hour and a half because I didn't know. Right, and it's not documented anywhere, and you just like, hey, this module installed. It's the README file is empty, right? There's no docs, right? And the people go read the code, and you go, yeah, but the code only tells me what it does, not what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just read like the whole thing, because I'm going through a similar thing with Drupal Commerce. So I haven't really used Drupal Commerce that much in Drupal 8 and up. Okay, I used it heavily in Drupal 7. So I've played around a lot with it, you know, just basic setups and things like that. But I really want to get my head around it for this live stream because I want to do a bunch of stuff. And eventually I want to think of, you know, perhaps moving over WebWash over to Drupal, because right now it is WordPress. Yes, apologies for that. It is WordPress. But things have changed since 2016 when I moved it over from Drupal 7 to WordPress, okay? But I've noticed that, yeah, documentation is also lacking as well. Like simple things, setting up GST, just doing basic sales tax. It took, I was up pretty late last night trying to sort it out. But one thing I've started to do is, coming back to AI, because of course we have to talk about AI, obviously, is that especially using especially using the Gemini, Gemini CLI, because that is free. Okay, what I'm doing now is I actually write a prompt that tells it to go into the Drupal module and develop a report for me. Tell me all of the permissions. Tell me all of the routes, which is very important because sometimes configuration can also be hidden in routes. And this is one thing I've always known, okay, that when you install a Drupal module, what do? What is the onboarding process? Yes, you might get a configuration button and a permission button when you install the module.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. Then you read the documentation, and and it says to do. And so, okay. So the first thing you do, and for me, if I look at the configuration page in Drupal, I just see links. Like, it's hard to really focus and see, oh, there's one particular here. So I just look at the routes, because then you can straight away see, oh, there's a route here, there's a config here. So what I've started to do, even for my live streams as well, for modules that I'm not 100% sure of, I tell it, give me a report. Go through and tell me all the plugins, how you think it will work. Because sometimes modules add functionality by creating a field and attaching it to something. So today, I was doing it with Drupal Commerce, and specifically the tax module. But with Gemini CLI, I actually started getting errors because I actually ran out of the context window. It just blew it out, like the context window. So I think either Google...
the size of the module itself blew it out?
Yeah, but it's meant to be 1 million tokens. But I have a feeling Google's now cracking down on the free plan.
Yeah, right. So you're saying you're using Gemini CLI? I want to get
Gemini CLI.
You said that before.
Yeah.
So you're just running on the command line. You're inside your Drupal file system, and you go, what's in this?
Inside your Drupal, and you just go @ point it to the folder or the module and say, look, this is a Drupal module. Can you tell me all the routes and how I would configure permissions on it, for example? And then it'll give you a nice...
Here I am copying files into ChatGPT like I've been doing for 2 years now. Still, old school chatbot skills. Like things are moving so fast. I haven't kept up with the tooling, right?
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, I do pay for, Claude Pro subscription. So that's the well, for me, it's 18 euros a month. I still haven't justified the cost of going up to the max plan. I personally have not hit the limit. Maybe I'm just not elite enough. I'm showing my age, L33T, elite enough. But I have not hit the limit. The only other thing, the difference between also Claude Pro and Max is that on the Max, you get the Opus model. You get access to that. But honestly, like, I have not hit any limits with the 18, well, for me, the Max plan. Sorry, no, the Pro plan. And you do get the application as well. So to run. But a few times I've started having conversations in the Claude app on the Mac, and then I'm like, oh crap! Now I want to now move this over to Claude Code, and there's no easy way to kind of move things across. And it's like, how do you do that? Like, I just tell it to develop a product. Oh, I forgot what it's called. PRD, product resource document or something like that. I forgot the acronym of it. Yeah.
I've done the similar technique in swapping sessions in ChatGPT. This one's got slow. It's running.
Yeah.
ChatGPT does that after a certain time. It starts to run. It's the interface, I think.
Yeah.
It's got so much text, and it's just going so slow. I'm done. Write up a status report summary of where we're at, what we did. Move into the next session. Argue with it. Tell it it's stupid.
That's it. and you tell it, can you clean up? Like, I've noticed a few times I've had to tell it, it's like, I look at the code that he generates and it's like, no, there's easier ways of doing it. And it's like, you're absolutely right. It's like, yeah, I know, clean it up. It's just too many if statements.
I get annoyed at it being so nice sometimes. I really do. I go, would you stop patronizing me? Would you stop that?
But the thing is,
I'm trying to insult you. It won't get insulted.
But the reason why I eventually moved over to Claude Pro was that I was spending way more. There was 1 month where I was spending more than the €18 a month, and it's kind of like, well, I might as well just get the Pro. And now I probably spend 50, 60 because I do have an application that actually tells you how many tokens you have used, and it tells you the price. So of course, it can calculate and say, okay, you've spent $2 or $3 every day, and that kind of adds up. But I only pay the flat rate of €18 a month, and that's so far so good.
It's partly why I think the inertia. I signed up for ChatGPT Pro ages ago, which is totally not the sort of thing I'd do. But now that I've crossed in there and I'm in there, and that's what I'm used to doing. That's what I've got to, and it's one of those. I've got a job to do, and I just want to get this module and this interface done. I don't want to spend a day, because it generally is. There's always yak shaving going on, setting up a new tool and a new infrastructure and figuring out how it works and adjusting my. So I'm just staying in ChatGPT for now until when, right? Because I've got so many projects on the go. I've got the eBay reselling stuff going. I've got content to create. I've got stuff to help around the house to do, and then sitting down building out my systems, doing stuff to get. And it's like, I don't really have time to sit there and learn new tools when I'm stretched thin already. So I'm just heading along with. But see, some people just seem to be picking up new tools really fast. Just use such and such, and you're like, yeah, but it's going to take a few hours, and I want I want this feature done in the next few hours, not right. So
absolutely, and that's the thing. I'm kind of the same as well. Like, every time I prepare a new live stream, I think, I can automate just the event description and all of these things. But it's like, I know I'll spend then 5 hours automating it, and it's not going to be 100% perfect. And so it's kind of like, sometimes you just need to balance it out. It's like, you either automate it to the point where it's 100% hands off, or you end up doing that last little bit, and that last little bit is the annoying part because you still have to do things manually and things like that. So
unexpected humps. With Odoo, I have created a AusPost shipping importer. Right,
nice.
So I've got a my post business account, and the same thing. You go, ChatGPT as AusPost got an API. I'm sure they does. It goes, yeah, they do. All right, sweet, cool. So you start building them. Then you go to talk to the API, and you realize. You go, and how do I suck in the shipping orders? And it's like, there's no such API to the one thing I wanted to do. You're like, oh, man. Right. So what it does do is you can go into My Post Business. Because if you've got an enterprise, you can do all your shipping and stuff. But with a standard My Post Business, you don't have an API. Okay. Which I didn't know. See, that's why it goes, yeah, you can. And it's like, not on
it just doesn't explain that last little bit.
Yeah. So then I'm like, fine. You can export all your orders in AusPost, like all your shipping labels, as a CSV. I'm like, fine, I'll import that. But I want to store my invoices as the PDFs, which means I still got to go to every order and click download invoice on every single order. So in the meantime, I've got an interface now where I can pop up a dialog box, import the CSV file, and point it. Do I point it at a folder? No, and just drag all like a multi-file uploader and stick all the invoices in there. And it's still fine. I've got to go down and download every single invoice. But at least it's like every few months I can just go import all my orders. And I'd rather have it running automatically, and I could probably use Selenium or Puppeteer or something to log, like the old scraper style, something to drive a browser and go and generate the CSV and pull it down that way. So what I think I'll do, because this is where I'm getting to, part of my vision for building this stuff is I'm building tools for myself, but I want to be able to offer them then to other eBay resellers.
Exactly.
And but getting from it works to I can offer it to somebody, right? Because at the moment, it's I've got an Ozpost importer, but you got to do all the training materials and the docs to go. Look, you've got to go to Ozpost, you've got to log in, you've got to go to every order, you've got to download them like this, you've got to download the CSV, you've got to point them at, and it's just like I want my customer to just click import Ozpost. Here's my username and password. Thank you. Right, and like, that's but to get from where I'm at now to there is so much work.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of laugh whenever you just see these people with this like whole vibe coding thing. I can generate a $18 million startup SaaS application in a weekend, but what they don't realize is that the tech is the easy part most of the time. Okay. You could always, and this is the thing that I don't understand, you do know companies have been outsourcing their development to cheaper countries. That is not a new thing. If somebody has the money, they can easily just go on Fiverr, give them a document, and get something generated. When it comes to running and having a successful SaaS application or some type of application, it is just the grunt work of distribution, marketing, onboarding, selling, documentation, support. Support is a massive part of it.
That's the scary part, support. Just get it up there and the customers will tell you if it works or not, and they'll tell you,
they won't. People are terrible, I've experienced with like when somebody asks for a refund, they don't tell you. Nobody talks to you. Nobody mentions
but even if they did, like I'm going to go, I've got this tool, you can use it. Someone's going to ring up and go, it doesn't work. And it's like, well, I'm down the creek.
Yeah.
I know. I'm a one-man band. I'm not home. I've got to, and then suddenly I've got a full-time job supporting something that's making me $10 a week. Like it's...
Exactly. Oh, no. Then they say, chuck on a poll or something on LinkedIn and YouTube or something. And you do that. And then you get probably... 10 people fill out the poll, and it pretty much comes to like 50-50. And that still doesn't explain it to you. Or, when you are small and you have only, 30 people using your application, you will get 30 different opinions about what the next feature to write about. And so that's why it really comes down to, it comes down to, yes, you have to just keep talking to your customers, and it's going to be messy. And sometimes,
which I think so, yeah.
And that's one thing I've had to kind of struggle with, where I only like to do things if I can plan everything out and everything runs nicely. But I've just realized that no, businesses are messy, and that's it. It's going to be messy. You just have to deal with it. You're not going to have everything sorted out. You're not going to have any type of perfect system. It is messy. You need to spend 15 minutes sometimes copying and pasting things from Notion to Google Docs and things like that. You have to do it. It's messy.
Yep.
And that's it. Like there's no two ways about it. Like, yes, I can probably get somebody to do it, but yeah, I'll do that one day. But you just have to embrace the chaos. And that's it.
Well, see, at the moment, that's why I don't have a product, right? Because my vision for what I'm building is massive. And I look at it like the, what's his name from Amazon? What's the boss?
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. Right? I've heard it attributed to him, the one-way door, two-way door problem. It's like there are some doors, if you walk through them, it slams shut and you can't walk back through it again. And there's other doors you walk through, and if it doesn't work, you just turn around and walk back out. And they attribute that's when he built AWS. He's like, we're building this because we need it, because we're going to use it. If people want to use it after we built it, then great. If not, we're building it anyway. So building AWS for him was a one-way door. I'm building it anyway. Like if we launch it to other people to use it and they don't like it, doesn't matter. We build it anyway, right? There's nothing to lose in that sense. So I'm kind of doing the same thing. Like I want something to track my accounts. I want to import from Ozpost. I want to hook it up to eBay. I don't want to go and pay some other. I'd rather just do it myself because I own it. It's my platform. I control it. I can talk about it like I'm doing now. It's content. Kind of, I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But I really would like to actually have a product to offer. I've got my little captions tool, which works for me. But at the moment, it puts, if someone wants to use it, it'll put my logo and my colours on it. Because if I offer it to someone else, I've got to be able to upload your own logo, and then it's got to sit in the same spot with the same animation, right? Yeah. Every little feature you want is another. I still think that's probably the next thing to do is just go, here's a list of different styles you can choose for the captions, and you can upload your logo. That's all the features it's got, and I think that's worth launching. But scalability, like on the scale, at the moment, I'm running it really cheaply. When you want to do a transcription, it spins up a server on vast.ai, it installs Whisper, it generates the captions. So it takes like a minute and a half to spin up the server. How am I supposed to compete with somebody like with somebody gets the TikTok app and they just go hits captions and they've got 1,000 servers already spun up and it scales up and down with demand, and it's like I've got one user who comes around and it takes a minute because I'm not paying 60 cents over and over again for a server that's not being used. Yeah. Right, it's kind of, it's one of those, they start small, but when you start, because I'm already noticing it from the scalability in my eBay stuff. I've gone from like band 0 to band 1 to band 2, the savings band. So my shipping, the more I've shipped, the cheaper my shipping's got. Until at the moment, there's a lot of things I ship at cost because it keeps me in the, and it's starting to learn those little things about business. Some people go, well, you're not making any money while you're shipping it. I go, because it gets me a bigger discount on my shipping because the volume's a benefit. There's benefit just the volume, which is not, that's my caption tool. I don't have the volume, right? And you hear these entrepreneurs, just go. And you go, but I am a perfectionist and I do have a huge big vision, but I just don't know where that line is because I can't offer a caption tool that puts my logo on there, right? It's just, that's the minimum viable product is much more than that. So it's all this, that's what I've been thinking about a lot. And I think it's just patience. In the meanwhile, I'll just keep flipping my eBay business, keep talking about that, keep talking about my journey, keep telling people I'm building things, talking about the feedback. I was watching a video on YouTube the other day while I was making paper. I'm sitting there because I've been recycling the books I can't sell to make books, been making little handmade bookmarks. Go on to ChatGPT, get it to print little pictures for me, and then I'll print that with the bubble jet printer on my handmade printer, stick that in the orders. So I was making that paper while I was just watching YouTube, and this guy's talking about the documenting your process. Yeah. Like someone said it was a bad idea. He was going, it's a great idea to just tell people what you're doing. So I'm like, great, I got out my camera and go, look, I'm building this eBay tool to track my orders, track my shipping. If you want to, and it's one of my best performing videos. But the only comment I've got is from one guy who says, the solution is Duabit. I'm like, what's Duabit? I Googled it. It's an eBay automation tool, but it's not Australian. Like, does it do GST? Does it do Ozpost? Right, I don't know. But it was just the only feedback I got was, and it's like, I'd never heard of it, and I don't know if I've heard of other products. And it's like, okay, so I still got the feedback go, here's a tool that does a similar job. And I'm like, great, I learned something. And I was a bit annoyed. Like, no. I asked what features you want, and you just tell me there's another tool. Thanks.
Absolutely.
But I learned something, right? So it's all this stuff I'm learning about entrepreneurial stuff while trying to dev at the same time. Yeah. Getting my head around Odoo and that community. Like, I'm not in. If anybody watching this is in the Odoo community, leave a comment. So I can, because I'm just, like I said, I'm so busy. I don't have time to sit there and get into chats and learn how the ecosystem works. And you're reading docs about an add-on in Odoo, and then you realize that it was written in 2015 and the module it's talking about doesn't even exist anymore, right? It's and it's like, and that's just all that I had it at Drupal when I worked there. You're never quite sure, am I doing it? What's the right way to do it? I don't think anybody ever was able to answer the question for me. What's the right? It's when you're building often you just go, just do it, right? It's kind of,
that's it. That's why.
Look at Odoo. I've got this connector importer. Should I use it? Right? If I was working on an enterprise grade product with someone who was an Odoo expert, would they use it? I don't know. Yeah. Right? And then when I'm adding my own import button to those import sources, that's what I spent me an hour and a half just going, should I be adding this button? And in the end I went, you know what? I want it. I want the button there. So I'm going to put the button there because I can always remove it later. But a lot of that, finding the balance between getting the job done and not building a rod for you back down the, because to ChatGPT, what if I don't use this importer thing? It just goes, well, yeah, you could get it done quicker if you just built an ad hoc importer and just imported the exact data you need and you could move on. It goes, but the pro is if you ever want to connect to another service, you're gonna have to do it all over again. You know, see,
yeah,
you know, like that's I'd rather do it right now, but then there's a lot of spinning around in circles going. It's a lot of the even with ChatGPT, because even it'll change its mind, but seems to be pretty consistent when you go, can you act as a professional enterprise-grade software developer and just tell me what would you do? And it goes, no, I'd use this, and you're okay, fine. Because I don't know any bloody different, but I don't know anybody to talk to. I don't have an Odoo mentor.
Absolutely. So, well, that's if the AI has up-to-date content. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, well, that's when I'm not trying to get it to go. I don't want the technical explanation of how that works. I just go if you're a professional, smart developer with these goals, what road would you take?
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, well, that's you know, and it's so here I am using this interface because it's harder. Then you got to learn you got this thing that provides an importer-based module, a source-based module. Some kind of base mechanism to talk to queues. It's got that in there, but I don't need queues right now. So I'm sort of doing a hybrid thing. Go, yeah, I'll extend the base module and extend the assets. Forget about queues. They're there if I need them.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of doing a bit of a half, not using the whole tool the way it's designed, but it's still early days. But I really got to get that data in, because I've already got like one script that can talk to eBay. I've already got the API set up. I've got the keys. I've got one script that's in Python, runs inside Odoo. You run the script and it goes, here, I connected to eBay. Yeah, great, done. Right, now I build a module and bit by bit getting there. But
well, it comes down to, again,
while commerce is on the other side. I've got a Drupal website, and that's where you're talking about Drupal Commerce, and I nearly did it all in Drupal Commerce to start with, right? But then it was like, I'm thinking it'll still probably come into, because at some point I want to run my own store, right? I want to go, I want a thing where I can put the listing into my tool, and it goes onto eBay, it goes onto my website, goes onto wherever else, right? But then I wouldn't mind having my own shop, right? Then, so I think I'd probably build that in Drupal Commerce. So then I need to integrate Odoo and Drupal Commerce to share that data. So that's why I'm still interested in Drupal Commerce, even though, because it might be doing my payment gateways and stuff for me, and then I'll have Odoo talking to that.
Yeah. Well, Drupal Commerce, you know, I've been playing around with it a fair bit. It's full on. Like, it is an e-commerce framework. Let's be honest. Like, it doesn't. You still need to configure a lot of things. It's the Drupal way of doing things, and that's why I don't know how long my live stream on Friday is going to go for. I wouldn't be surprised if it's over an hour and a half. But the goal of the live stream is to just cover the process of creating a single product, a physical product, and the example I'm doing is a roasted coffee where you can select a light, medium, and dark roast. So you have your different attributes, and then you create your product attributes and variants, and then you do a basic shipping, because again, shipping is wild. You know, you can have any type of shipping integration, and then GST for the tax. I'm not going to deal with VAT, like the EU VAT. I'm going to just deal with like the Australian GST, because it's just 10% no matter what. You know, if it's Australia billing address, that's it. I don't want to deal with VAT, because I've been dealing with that, the EU VAT, and that's a whole other thing. And then, I'm going to integrate then shipping with the shipping module, and also Stripe, and using like just test keys in Stripe. But I was surprised. Like, it is pretty cool to go through the whole process, and I haven't spent that much time on it. But mind you, yes, I do have Drupal experience, and that's the important thing. You need Drupal experience, but you can build something pretty decent. And then again, because you're a developer, you know, okay, well, once you look at the code, it's like, okay, so I want to send off an email and this and that. And I'm sure I can guarantee you the first comment I'm going to get is, how do I integrate it with this very specific shipping provider? It's like, I don't know. It's like, I'm not going to cover every single permutation. Why didn't you show me how to implement it when you have attributes and variants and like this, and why doesn't it apply the tax on the? It's like, you know, there's always going to be those. With
that's why it's a framework. You can't have an out of the box if it was. you can't have it out of the box. eBay's like, give me that insight though. The amount of different configuration,
it's great. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad I'm a dev when I need to set up eBay, because you just same thing. I've always said, often configuring stuff through the UI, it's a dev job anyway, because you got to. If I change that setting, what happens to this setting? And you set this one, you got to set this up and this up and that up and that up and that up to get this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then even with packaging, like packaging and shipping, sometimes if you have a certain package, you may want to. A product. So if you have a certain product that's a certain size, it can only go into certain packaging. But then what happens if they buy 2 of them? Then if they buy more than, because I've had issues like this in the past where they wanted a workflow. If they purchase more of this product, let's say more than 3, we can then pack it up into a different packaging, and then it's cheaper. And but see, this is where I think
I just set a thing up on eBay where it's like, a certain category of item, I'll put, because the really cheap ones, I'm selling it for $1.99. It's $7.81 shipping. But every other one in that category that you add to your cart will get $2 shipping.
Yeah. And
then when you get 5 of them, you get 45% off the whole lot, right? And it's really simple maths though. It's like it's the first one, $7.81, and then it's $2 shipping for every other one. And when you get the 5, it's 45% off. It's like, if they buy 5, if they buy 1, I'll probably lose $1 or I'll break even. It's not that. But if they buy 2, I'm starting to make $1. And then by the time they're buying 5 and I'll give 45% off, I still make some money. It's kind of, I'm trying to get people to ship these cheap books that people want, but I don't really want to send one at a time. I'm trying to encourage people, buy 5. Buy 5 random books, please.
Buy 5 random books.
Better for you, better for me. It's better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
but they're the sort of things you got to set up. Like trying to build that in. That's what I mean. It took me probably a day's worth of work to get my head around how eBay's going to do that. Right, and that's eBay's already built and configured it is out of the box. And that took hours just to work. And then a few days later, change my mind and reconfigure it. But if you're pulling something like Drupal Commerce, and then you've got to wire it up, and you've got the ability to change that yourself and add those sort of requirements. That's what I mean. eBay's not letting me do. Once you get 3, charge it. It doesn't. It just doesn't do that. It doesn't go. Once you get the 3, change your shipping policy to a completely different policy. It's not. This is your policy.
Yeah.
It's.
See, this is where
either calculated shipping or it's flat rate shipping with an extra $1 for each other item. That's without variations and stuff on top, right? That's just. I don't do variations on books.
See, this is where I think having an MCP server somewhere in the middle. So you could probably do something.
I haven't got my head around that yet.
Yeah, well, I'm like, to me, the way I'm seeing MCP servers be used, it's literally just the REST function. It kind of looks, it looks like there's this one person I follow on LinkedIn, and he does I can't remember his name, but he does all AI stuff. And when I've looked at a lot of the examples of, say, using actions in Drupal AI and also integrating with certain MCP servers, okay? Essentially, every action in your MCP has a machine name. And so what I've seen people do is they write prompts that points to the MCP machine name, and it passes parameters through as like JSON so they can actually interact with something. And I'm thinking to myself, are we developing some type of weird English programming pseudo language where originally with AI, we were like, oh, it's great. We can write natural language. But now we're going full circle back and just writing a machine name with, function signatures and just passing that.
And all the natural languages happening in the background.
Yeah, essentially. But then what you could do is you could send that off to a Drupal, but then to a Drupal MCP server, do things, and then, but like AI is not really involved because it's just, you're passing it like the machine name and like the function signature as like a JSON object. And so we get to this point where MCPs are just kind of like a REST API. I don't know. That's the way. That's the way I'm kind of
seeing
what
I kind of figured they were as well. Anyway, right?
Well, they were. But the good thing is, everyone just kind of standardized on them in a weird way and really picked it up because it was all about, oh, check out this awesome AI stuff. So
is that how it looks? So you've got a REST endpoint, right? Which you talk to. You go, I want what the create a content type action, right? So you call the create content type. Underneath that, there's an LLM that just goes, yeah, I know how to create a content type. And it goes blah blah blah, and then sends JSON back again. So you literally got like the LLM natural language happening behind the scenes, and you're speaking through an API. We just call this action. It's very odd.
Absolutely. But then I've heard stories where people say if you have too many MCP servers or MCPs in your prompts, things can start hallucinating because it needs to kind of figure out which service to call. So it's just, but what I'm trying to say is that I do see a future, especially with Drupal, where every Drupal site will be an MCP server essentially. And then you just interact directly with it that way. I don't know what's going to happen with GraphQL. I don't know what's going to happen with, what is it, JSON API, REST. We're going
to have MCP extras.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I have no idea.
How long's it going to take? Because it took a decade or more to get bloody, REST endpoints and JSON into.
Oh, I think Drupal MCPs are here. Place. Like they have come out of nowhere and everyone's using them.
Yeah, right.
Because if
I'm not really on the ground anymore. So I'm hearing these terms, but then I haven't touched one. I haven't used, like I said, don't have time. Right.
But that, I think every single SaaS application is trying to expose their information that way. And expose their application through these servers. And I think, it came out of nowhere, but now all of a sudden everyone's integrating their own flavor of them. Symfony recently announced about a month or so ago the AI agent, their AI agent initiative and their bundle pack. And because Symfony bundles a bunch of their components together as kind of a distribution, not a Drupal distribution, but, kind of like a framework.
Mate, I'm so scared. Just because you got kids that are like 10, 12 playing with this technology now, and in 10, 15 years, they're going to be doing all sorts of stuff for those go, I'm old, I don't understand. Because it's going to be so very different.
In 10 or 15 years. It is. It's
already it is that's the case. I see, it's just take for years to go, you come to me and you go, I need a Drupal website that sells stuff. My brain still goes straight to install Drupal Commerce, set up an e-commerce site. But the answer is go set up Shopify, right? It's sort of taken me so long, I just don't think that way, right? And I never really have. And now things are moving up fast even more. Yeah.
But it depends. It still depends. I don't think, at the end of the day, yes, Shopify is great, don't get me wrong, but just like any other platform, there's always there's hundreds of options out there. Shopify isn't the only one.
Yeah.
And, it's not.
No, but building it all yourself from scratch, it's, you would have been around when you used to write you write HTML and you index PHP from scratch.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Now you write.
And then they started talking about CMSs. I'm like, what's a CMS? And they were probably around for years before I actually got a job where I worked with a CMS. And it's like, that makes so much sense because I was already in my head wanting to build something that did exactly that. You sit down in Drupal, Drupal does everything that I wanted something to do, right? And it's like Drupal was but Drupal was supposed to be the turnkey thing. You just install Drupal, boom, you got a website. And you're like, and then 12 months later, it's
you need to make it. Exactly.
How long does it take to build a website? You go, about an hour.
And then we want to customize it.
Yeah.
But I want to add this. It's like, that's going to take them 3 weeks.
Yeah, it is. I can get you a website. It's got users. It's got logins. It's got content management. It's got all of that. But it's got Bartik theme. You want to change the theme? It's
Bartik theme. Garland. No, Garland. Right? What is the Garland? Old school.
Yeah. But then can you move the logo over there? And you go, the theme doesn't support it, right? So now we're Right? That's and I feel like AI is going to, on one hand, do that and not do that, just like technology always does. You know, it's going to be somebody, you know, and probably a lot of people who just don't know traditional best practices on how to, because it's already happening with the vibe coding, right? People, look, I built a web, there's a joke meme going around. Someone's going, your job's cooked. I just built a website. They go, send me the link, and it's like C drive /localhost index.html. It's like, right? It's but right? You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So, but there's still going to be some people that just build something. Of course, Facebook built that way. Move fast, break stuff.
Yeah.
You're right. So you're going to get someone that doesn't know what they're doing, come along, build something, build it bad, get a bunch of customers, make enough money to hire someone to fix it. And there's something to be said for not doing it the right way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which I have a hard time with.
Absolutely, and that's
but
why.
Then again, you sort of go. That's how Google, Facebook, all those. Well, Google wasn't built that way, but Facebook was. But then now we've got Facebook, and Facebook's evil. Maybe it's not a good idea.
Facebook, yes, Facebook. Yes, Facebook is evil because I got kicked off it for uploading Drupal videos. So yes, which is a bit annoying.
So all the proof you need. They kicked me off. They must be evil.
Yes, they couldn't handle Drupal. They were like, "Yeah, we're not going to have this guy talk about Drupal on our platform." Yeah, absolutely.
I'm on Facebook all the time. I bag it out. I like it. Funny, but it's the world we're in, right?
Yeah.
Right. You can't talk to the slaves without, you got to, so if everybody's in a prison, you can't talk to them about how to get out of prison and without going in there yourself.
That's it. That's it.
You're out on the outside going, oh.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
Yes.
Well, I think that's kind of it, right?
Tell everybody in faith. Yeah. Oh, we done?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're at 47 minutes.
All right, we've covered it. Thanks for joining us. We've covered AI, Odoo, Drupal Commerce.
Yes.
And Facebook sucks.
Yes. And don't worry, the next episode, we'll plan it out. The next episode, we're just kind of warming up to it. And, we'll come up with that,
baby.
We'll give
Drop in the comments. Tell us what you want to talk about. Go on. We know you're watching. We see the stats. Leave a comment.
Well, one thing...
So we don't have to think it up.
Yeah, one thing I'd love for you to do... Well, feedback, but also maybe do like a deep dive on like Odoo and all the stuff that it offers, and that would be an interesting one. And how you're using it. Now that could be an interesting take.
Yeah. See, anyway, we'll wrap it up. Then you've got all my live data in there.
Oh, okay. Well, there may not
see all my expenses. Yeah. Might be able to set something up. If people want it, I'll set it up. Sample data.
Well, there you go. Cool.
Great.
All right.
Cheers.
Well, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.